It's 20 past Bedlam. Tonight's ticker tape terrors. Dollar Dash. 1907 sees big Apple Bank bonanza. King and Queen crowned, yawn, says public. 4,000 Byzantines kidnapped by Turkish tourists. And coming up, archaeologists discover that ancient civilizations used time-traveling toaster ovens. Those are the headlines. The past is catching up.
Today, Newsbang, the voice of truth distilled and bottled. 1907.
The Knickerbocker Trust Company has gone belly up, sparking a financial panic that makes a run on the toilet paper aisle look civilized. Panicked customers stormed the bank, demanding their cash, their dignity, and possibly a refund on their now worthless stock certificates.
Eyewitness Mildred Pennypincher, clutching her meager savings, exclaimed, "It's a bloodbath! I haven't seen this much chaos since my last trip to the bargain bin at Macy's."
As the financial world teetered on the brink, J.P. Morgan, that titan of capitalism, swooped in with his checkbook and a stern look, ready to bail out the floundering economy and remind everyone who's really in charge.
1727.
London was abuzz today with more than just royal excitement, as George II and Caroline of Ansbach were crowned in a ceremony that can only be described as sticky. The Archbishop of Canterbury, in a moment of divine inspiration, accidentally anointed the new king with honey instead of holy oil. Cue the bee-pocalypse.
One horrified onlooker exclaimed, "The king's covered in bees. Someone fetch the royal beekeeper." Queen Caroline, ever the pragmatist, quipped, "At least the honey will attract more tourists."
In a further display of royal pandemonium, a group of Jacobite sympathizers released a flock of chickens into Westminster Abbey. The birds were swiftly apprehended and later served as the main course at the coronation banquet. Waste not, want not, as they say.
Indeed, since 906.
The Abbasid Caliphate has given the Byzantine Empire a taste of its own scimitar, launching a surprise attack that's left Constantinople reeling. Ahmad ibn Kaygalag, a man whose name strikes fear into the hearts of grammarians, led the charge, capturing thousands and forcing them to endure hours of tedious poetry recitals.
Eyewitnesses report the Abbasid forces employed the camel catapult and the scimitar surprise to devastating effect. "It was terrifying," sobbed one Byzantine soldier. "Camels were flying everywhere. I've never seen so many humps."
The Byzantine emperor, currently revising his How to Deal with Angry Arabs handbook, has called for calm. He's also drafting a strongly worded letter to the Abbasid Caliph, threatening to unfriend him on parchment book.
Kidney still, Newsbang, scooping the facts, serving them to the world.
With a forecast more unpredictable than a ferret in a fancy dress shop, it's Shakanaka Giles.
Good evening, viewers. Down southeast, a proper British drizzle, the sort that makes you wonder if you've got a leak in your roof or if the sky's just having a little weep. Bring a brolly, just in case, but don't be surprised if it turns out to be a glorious, sunny day. That's the joy of British weather. Up in the Midlands, a touch of frost in the air, the kind that makes your breath look like a dragon's smoke. Perfect weather for a brisk walk, a mug of hot cocoa, and a good grumble about the cold. And in bonny Scotland, well, it's a meteorological lottery. Sunshine 1 minute, hailstones the next. Could be a rainbow, could be a blizzard, could be a rogue haggis flying past. Best be prepared for anything, folks, and that's all the weather.
Indeed, since 906.
Hold on to your hummus. It's 906 and those Abbasid chaps are causing a right ruckus in the Byzantine Empire. They've just pulled off a raid so daring, so audacious, it would make a Viking blush. It seems Emperor Leo VI forgot to lock the back door, and now those Abbasid lads are running off with half of Anatolia. We go live now to our man on the scene, Brian Bastable, who's dodging scimitars and trying to blend in with a fake beard. Brian, what in the name of Constantinople is going on?
Martin, it's like a jumble sale in a butcher shop out here. The Abbasids are having a field day, rounding up Byzantine peasants like sheep and looting everything that isn't nailed down. They've got enough plunder to stock 1,000 souks and enough prisoners to build a new pyramid. Ahmad ibn Kaygalag, that Abbasid commander, is a right piece of work, Martin. He's got a name that makes a Welshman sound concise and a stare that could curdle a camel's milk at 50 paces. I just saw him use a Byzantine nobleman's silk robe as a picnic blanket. Talk about adding insult to injury. Poor old Leo, he's back in Constantinople, probably throwing a right royal tantrum. I wouldn't want to be his interior decorator right now. I bet he's wishing he'd invested in a bigger moat. This raid's going to sting the Byzantines for generations, Martin. It's a blow to their pride, their coffers, and their ability to hold on to their belongings. This is Brian Bastable, Newsbang, signing off from a battlefield that's as chaotic as a donkey derby in a mosque. Back to you, Martin, before I get mistaken for a slave and end up scrubbing someone's sandals.
Atin Sudden, 1936.
And on this day in 1936, Captain Dodd Osborne of the fishing trawler Girl Pat embarked on an unauthorized transatlantic voyage, sparking a media frenzy. Osborne's audacious adventure, fueled by job dissatisfaction and a thirst for fame, ended in his conviction at the Old Bailey. The incident sent shockwaves through the fishing industry, leading to tighter regulations. For more on this fishy tale of high seas hijinks, we go to Ken Schitt. Ken?
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your knickers because I'm about to blow your minds with a tale of maritime madness that'll make your average pirate look like a Boy Scout on a paddle boat. In 1936, a man named Dodd Osborne, captain of the fishing trawler Girl Pat, decided to give the middle finger to his bosses and take his 70-foot vessel on a joyride across the Atlantic. This wasn't just some drunken sailor's folly. Oh no! This was a full-blown screw you to the fishing industry and a one-way ticket to infamy. Osborne, the ballsiest bastard to ever set foot on a deck, claimed he was on a secret mission for British naval intelligence. But let me tell you, the only thing this guy was spying on was his own inflated ego. The media went absolutely apeshit over this story. Every Tom, Dick and Harry with a newspaper was gobbling up tales of this seafaring scoundrel like it was the last fish and chips on Earth. But here's the kicker, folks. When the law finally caught up with our nautical nutjob, they slapped him with theft charges faster than you can say walk the plank. Osborne tried to weasel his way out, spinning yarns about being a secret agent, but the judge wasn't buying what he was selling. In the end, this fishy fiasco led to tighter regulations on the fishing industry. So remember, kids, the next time you think about stealing a boat for a transatlantic joyride, you might just end up being the catch of the day in Her Majesty's prison. This is Ken Schitt, reminding you that crime doesn't pay, but it sure as hell makes for good television.
1940.
Belgian Prime Minister Hubert Pierlot has made a daring escape to London, leaving Hitler fuming and the diplomatic world baffled. This audacious act of political gymnastics has left everyone wondering, just how did he do it? Pierlot, it seems, is determined to govern Belgium from the comfort of a London townhouse. For more on this Belgian waffle of international intrigue, we go live to our political correspondent, Hardiman Pesto. Pesto, have you mastered the art of Belgian diplomacy?
Martin, I'm here in London, where the Belgian government in exile has set up shop. And let me tell you, these Belgians know how to live. They've got chocolate fountains, waffle irons working overtime, and a miniature mannequin pies that spouts, well, let's just say it's a sight to behold.
Pesto focus. This is a serious situation. Belgium is under Nazi occupation. What is Pirlo's plan? How will he govern a country from 300 miles away?
Well, Martin, I managed to have a quick chat with the Prime Minister earlier. He's a charming fellow with a fondness for bow ties and surrealist art. He assured me that he's got everything under control. He's even got a direct line to the Belgian resistance. Apparently they communicate via carrier pigeon and coded messages hidden in boxes of chocolates.
Pesto, carrier pigeons and chocolates. This is a war, not a children's birthday party. What about the Nazi threat? What about the Belgian people suffering under occupation?
Right, of course, Martin. I did try to ask the Prime Minister about that, but he seemed a bit evasive. He kept offering me waffles and talking about the importance of maintaining a positive attitude. He even suggested we all go for a bike ride through Hyde Park.
Pesto, I think you've been seduced by the Belgian way of life. Waffles and bike rides are all very well, but there's a war on. Try to get some real answers if you can. We'll be back after the break with a more sobering analysis of the situation in Belgium.
1924.
And on this day in 1924, a momentous event occurred that would forever change the landscape of public speaking and awkward silences at dinner parties. Toastmasters International was founded in Santa Ana, California, at a local YMCA. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the organization that has been helping people conquer their fear of public speaking for nearly a century began in a place better known for its swimming pools and questionable locker room etiquette. One can only imagine the first toast was to the invention of deodorant, or perhaps to the joys of avoiding eye contact. For more on this gripping tale of oratorical evolution, we cross to our American correspondent, Melody Wintergreen.
Santa Ana, California, 1924. Melody Wintergreen here, at the birthplace of an organization that's done more for public speaking than a shot of whiskey and a darkened room. That's right, folks. We're at the YMCA, Ground Zero for Toastmasters International. It all started with Ralph C. Smedley, the YMCA's educational director. He saw a need, a void in the social fabric. Young men, tongue-tied and terrified of public speaking, were stumbling through life, their voices as shaky as a newborn giraffe. Smedley, bless his articulate heart, decided to do something about it. So, on this very day, the first Toastmasters Club was born, right here in this humble YMCA. Who knew that amidst the chlorine fumes and sweaty gym socks, a movement of oratorical excellence would emerge? Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. Or, should I say, turning ums and ahs into eloquent pronouncements. Fast forward a century, and Toastmasters has become a global phenomenon, with chapters in every corner of the globe. Smedley's dream has come true, 1,000 times over. Millions have conquered their stage fright, found their voices, and learned to speak with confidence and charisma. As we stand in this birthplace of boldness, let's raise a metaphorical glass, or perhaps a microphone, to Toastmasters. They've shown us that anyone can master the art of public speaking, even if you started your journey in a YMCA locker room, surrounded by sweaty towels and the faint scent of chlorine. Melody Wintergreen, Newsbang, Santa Ana, California, where the words flow like water, or maybe like a strong cup of coffee after a particularly grueling workout.
A Newsbang, the gust of a lethal inhaler disinfecting the airwaves.
Polly Beep, what's the latest from the chaotic crossroads of history?
Hold on to your berets because we've got a runaway train situation in Paris. That's right. The 4:15 Express at Montparnasse station has decided to make a grand exit. through the station wall. It's dangling precariously over the street below, looking like a giant metal caterpillar that's lost its grip. Avoid rue de Rennes unless you fancy a close encounter of the train kind. Meanwhile, on the Champs-Élysées, it's a mime mayhem. A whole herd of those silent performers has escaped from, well, wherever it is mimes come from. They're blocking traffic, causing confusion, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've started a mime-only traffic jam. It's all terribly quiet, but rather unsettling. Over in London, a pea soup of fog has descended, thicker than a bowl of lentil soup. Visibility on Tower Bridge is down to about an inch, so if you're crossing, best bring a guide dog and a foghorn. And finally, a message for all you time-traveling tourists. Make sure your DeLoreans are in tip-top condition before you attempt any temporal jumps. We don't want a repeat of last week's incident when a chap from 2045 accidentally materialized in the middle of the Battle of Hastings. Poor fellow ended up with a rather nasty case of arrow shock. This is Polly Beep, signing off. Bon voyage.
1797.
And now, for our science segment, we turn to our correspondent, Calamity Prendeville, who brings us a tale of daring innovation and unexpected British ingenuity in the world of parachuting.
Good evening, viewers. It's time for another thrilling instalment of Science Watch, where we bring you the most exciting innovations from the annals of history.
On this day, in 1797, a daring Frenchman named André-Jacques Garnerin decided to take a leap of faith, quite literally, but little did he know he was actually using secret British technology.
Picture this. Garnerin ascends 3,200 feet in a hot air balloon, which was actually invented by a chap from Wigan, who got the idea while watching his wife's undergarments billow on the washing line. At the apex of his flight, Garnerin steps out into thin air, relying on nothing but a flimsy piece of silk to save his life.
Now, this silk parachute was actually developed by a retired British tea cosy knitter, Ethel Higginbottom. She'd been experimenting with oversized tea cozies for years, much to the annoyance of her husband.
As Garnerin plummeted towards the earth, onlookers gasped. Would the parachute open? Would he survive? Or would he end up as flat as a crepe Suzette? Well, thanks to Ethel's ingenious design, Garnerin landed safely, albeit a bit dizzy and in need of a strong cup of tea.
This groundbreaking jump paved the way for future innovations, like the popular 1980s game Parachute Pete for the ZX Spectrum, where players guide a pixelated chap to safety using only the Q and P keys.
So next time you see a parachutist gracefully descending from the sky, remember, it all started with a Frenchman, a balloon, and a very large tea cosy. This is Calamity Prendeville, signing off from Science Watch.
Madsilton. Newsbang. The crystal clear resonance of reality amidst the eternal static.
And on this day, in 1907, America's financial world was plunged into chaos as the Knickerbocker Trust Company faced a devastating bank run. Panic spread faster than a rumor at a knitting circle, with depositors scrambling to withdraw their life savings. The crisis exposed the fragility of the US banking system, leaving it as wobbly as a drunkard on a tightrope. Joining us now with more on this fiscal fiasco is our business correspondent, Perkin Stornoway. Perkin, just how bad was the damage?
1907. Knickerbocker Trust Company. Dogger, moderate, becoming poor, visibility, 0, bank run, panic, knitting circles, in a frenzy, life savings, vanishing faster than a biscuit at a WI meeting. Trusts, sock-based or otherwise, financial trouble, rumours swirling, wildfire in a wind tunnel, J.P. Morgan, looking important, doing nothing, Crisis spinning out of control. Drunken top at a ballroom dance. Uncle Sam. Enter stage right. Federal Reserve. Lender of last resort. A lender with deep pockets. But hold on. Regulations. Oversight. Hounds on a fox hunt. Wall Street. Trembling. Regulators. Sniffing. Probing. Misconduct. Exposed. But wait. The Great Depression. Another crisis. Another disaster. Financial history. A cautionary tale. Invest wisely. Stay safe. And that's the business.
1966.
And on this day, in 1966, the Supremes shattered the glass ceiling of the music industry, becoming the first all-female group to reach the pinnacle of the Billboard 200 chart. Their album, The Supremes' A Go-Go, not only topped the charts, but also rewrote the rulebook of popular music. This triumph wasn't just about catchy tunes and synchronized dance moves. It was a seismic shift in the cultural landscape. For more on this earth-shattering event and its repercussions on the world of sequins and harmonies, we go to our culture correspondent, Smithsonia Moss.
Now, at this point of the evening, we welcome listeners on FM who've just joined us.
Whoa, Newsbang Nation! Smithsonia Moss here, your queen of Motown and all things fabulous. And honey, let me tell you, August 26th, 1966, was a day that shook the music industry like a shimmy in a sequined gown. The Supremes, those queens of soul and style, dropped their album, The Supremes' A Go-Go. And it wasn't just a hit, it was a goddamn explosion of talent, glamour, and girl power. Now, this wasn't just any album, babes. This was the album that made history. The album that proved that Black women could be beautiful, talented, and dominate the charts like nobody's business. It was a cultural earthquake, honey, and the epicenter was Detroit, the home of Motown, the record label that was churning out hits faster than an assembly line. So, what made the Supremes' A Go-Go so special? Well, first of all, those harmonies, honey. Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, and Florence Ballard blended their voices like a sonic milkshake, creating a sound that was smoother than butter on a hot summer day. And those songs. Love is like an itching in my heart. You can't hurry love, baby love. These weren't just tunes, they were anthems, the soundtrack to a generation of love, heartbreak, and everything in between. But the Supremes were more than just singers. They were style icons. They had the moves, the hair, the gowns. They were dripping with glamour, honey, and they made every girl in America want to be them. They were proof that Black women could be just as stylish, sophisticated, and successful as their white counterparts, and that message resonated far beyond the dance floor. And let's not forget the impact the Supremes had on the music industry. They paved the way for countless other female artists, from Destiny's Child to the Spice Girls. Okay, maybe not the Spice Girls, but you get the idea. They showed the world that girl groups could be more than just a novelty act. They could be a force to be reckoned with. So there you have it, folks. The Supremes' A Go-Go. An album that wasn't just about music, but about breaking barriers, challenging norms, and showing the world what Black girl magic could do. It's a testament to the enduring power of talent, ambition, and a whole lot of sequins. Wahoo!
Newsbang. Feeding facts to the angry dogs of insinuation, one scoop at a time.
And now, for a final glance at tomorrow's front pages. The Daily Telegraph reads, Nippon knocked out again. Solomon sorry. Saga continues. The Times leads with, Ottoman's outfit, French in concrete, Preveza falls. The Guardian focuses on high fashion with, McQueen unleashes starving beasts on runway. The Daily Mail takes a more sensational approach. McQueen's models so hungry claims fashion victim. The independent analyses the historical implications of Ottoman Empire flexes Albanian muscles, says ally. The Sun simplifies the war effort with Japs still can't crack Guadalcanal crackers. And finally, the Daily Star puts its unique spin on the fashion world with McQueen's models, so thin you can see right through them. That's all for tonight's Newsbang. Join us tomorrow when we'll be shouting about something else. And remember, a newspaper a day keeps the ignorance at bay. Or not.
Tune in next time for more artificially intelligent hilarity. Newsbang is a comedy show written and recorded by AI. All voices impersonated. Nothing here is real. Good night.